Hello there, and a very warm welcome to the France Buying Guide's YouTube presentation. Well, this week I've got a few tips for you on how to make the most of your new life in France or your new second home in France, how to integrate. I guess I'm already preaching to the reverses slightly, as I'm sure you love France as much as I do, or you wouldn't be actually watching this film. So it's a great starting point that you have a love for France. Now, moving to France, we have found is both stimulating and exciting, and sometimes nerve-wracking as well. I know that because we've done it. That's not to say there'll be times when you don't miss certain things about the UK, although from a personal point of view, I can say in all honesty that there is nothing that we really miss that affects us. Family and friends, perhaps, but then they all love to come and visit us here. And don't forget that anywhere in France is no more than an hour and a half away, what with all the regional airports in both countries, so it's quite an easy ride between the two. Now, it's human nature to compare, of course, but if you go with the right attitude, embrace the differences rather than fight them, and follow a few basic tips, I'm sure you will love your life in France as much as we do. So, how do you go about integrating? Well, my advice to you is to look upon it as an adventure before you even get there. Embrace the culture, the people, the different way of doing things. Talk to anyone and everyone. You always say bonjour in shops, for example, even to other customers. People are very good about that in France. Even when you're waiting in the queue, for example, in the post office, everyone says hello to each other, which is actually quite nice. Introduce yourself to your mayor at the local mairie. That's very important. The mairie holds a lot of local power in France, and it's always good to tell him you're in the community, tell him what you bought, where it is. It's a good idea to do that because then things will spread out. You'll meet other people that way as well. Rural France is awash with clubs and societies and organisations. Our local bar, for example, arranges a Scrabble session once a week, and lots of other events going on. We also have a wine bar where they do themed evenings now. You can always join a library. There are lots of gyms. Horse riding is very popular in France, cycling obviously as well, and don't forget your local church. Now, as you probably know, our house sits opposite a 14th century church. Well, we're not religious at all, but we do feel a great sense of belonging to the community as we watch our neighbours and friends and tourists visit the lovely church. It is really very, very beautiful. Watch out also for fakes and antique sales. There are plenty of those all year round. And try your hand at whatever French you know. It's always a good idea. Nobody minds if you make mistakes. It's just really important to try. Don't forget also you're bound to run into other English folk. We have several English people living in our village. And go to markets. That's a particular institution in France. Not just food markets, but markets selling pretty much everything. Chances are you'll wind up having a coffee in one of the cafes nearby and mixing with the locals. And that way you do spread your network. We have some lovely little restaurants around near us, but don't be afraid to walk into a French bar and order a prix fixe menu. They're always good value, and you'll find most people are extremely friendly. I'm often asked about whether we've encountered any hostile reaction where we live in France to being British, and I can honestly say we haven't. People are extremely friendly, and everyone mixes in really well. It may not be the same in Paris, of course, or bigger cities, but where we are, mostly in rural France, they're very used to us Brits coming to live in what for the Brits is their adopted new country. But you know, the real secret to a happy life in France is to love it for what it is and accept life for what it is. Lunchtime is still sacred. Often shops close between 12 and 2, but you do get used to that. Sundays is a day when shops are open in the morning, but not so much in the afternoon. It's actually quite nice to have that distinction, we find. There's something very peaceful and calming about living here. I've always thought it's also to do with the space that we have all around us and the beauty, of course. Now you'll find lots of information in our newly revamped France Buying Guide. We can point you to specifics, specific recommendations for experts such as lawyers, property agents, surveyors, etc. So do ask. We're always here. Someone's here to answer your call. Or email me. Always happy to answer a specific question for you. Or come and meet me. That would be lovely. Anyway, as Christmas approaches, I hope you're having a lovely time doing your Christmas shopping. I will talk to you again before Christmas. We'll be having a special Christmas film. And I hope this finds you well. And I'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.